What's up? Welcome back to Tammy Talks. We are here today to talk Queen Season 1, Episode 3, Who You Calling a Bitch? Before we get started, thank you as always to everybody that checked out the last video. If you are back again and you still have not subscribed, or if you are brand new to the channel, welcome. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos for any of the other TV shows that I do recaps on. Thumbs up the video, leave some comments down below. Let's talk about the show. The show, it still feels very disjointed to me, right? So I started taking notes on this episode and then I was like over it. So I'm actually going to go through the notes I have for the first part, and then when they start to break down everybody's individual kind of storyline, I can just do that kind of top of the head. So it starts off with their last big performance that they had. So we know that Naomi gave up her... That's right, it's at the door. So we know that Naomi gave up her solo career and her solo contract to keep working with the girls. So at the concert, apparently they had a hole in the floor for whatever reason, and in the stage, and Naomi was down there, I guess, waiting for her turn to either jump up, and Valeria fell down on her. So that kind of derailed the show because they didn't know if she needed to go to the hospital or not. So then they're all together and they're reading the reviews from the show, and Jill forgot the lyrics. Eve had to do an impromptu intermission so that she can call home to her kids, and she's singing to them. She's singing like some nursery rhyme to get her child back to sleep. Like, it was rough. It was bad. And then we find out that they just never prepared for it. They were so hype off of doing like their theme song, the Nasty Girl anthem, that they never took the time to like really prepare for the show. And a lot of it is because they was fighting and didn't know if they wanted to even do the show. So they're sitting around talking, saying that they're going to, maybe we should just quit, we'll just end it. And they're like, no, let's just come out with some new music. Because the reviewer, the critic that was talking about them, was saying how they're just one of many like 90s groups, throwback groups that are trying to like reclaim the fame that they once had. So they're like, let's reinvent ourselves and come up with a new sound. Let's get some new music going out. Jill wants to change the name of the group. She feels that they're no longer in the place that they were when they were, probably in their early 20s, late teenage years, however old they were when they got put on. So she's like, that's not what we are anymore. We're not there anymore. So like, let's reinvent ourselves. And they're like, no, we can't change the name of the show. I mean, we can't change the name of the group. Like, that's hard to do. So Brianna decides that she thinks that they all should just start writing their own verses so that it's more true to them, more about them. And Naomi goes on to let us know that she wrote majority of the music for the group. One, because Valeria cannot write. Jill can do some writing, but she was always too coked up to do it. And she would write a lot of the stuff for Brianna because Brianna was too busy like chasing after men and doing everything else. She never cared. So Brianna lets her know, man, I don't need you to write for me, sweetheart. I can do my own writing. So they decide to do like a cipher, a battle between Naomi and Brianna. I kind of want to know why they didn't have Brianna why they didn't have Eve and Brandy switch roles. Why isn't Eve the super lyrical one in the group? That doesn't make sense. I guess you want to get her out of that role, make her, like, I don't know. That bothers me because I felt like, even though I think Eve is a good actress, I think Brandy would be doing better in this role if Brandy was Brianna. But all right, y'all. So they have this cipher. They're going back and forth with each other, and they're throwing shots, taking low blows, digging at each other, but it's all in good fun because they, one, they're friends, and two, they kind of understand, this is how rap battles go. So Naomi wins the first round, Brianna wins the second. So they're saying let's go head to head. Naomi comes out swinging, taking some like deep shots, low blows, and then Brianna was like, "Look, I don't even need the music. I can go a cappella," and she kills Naomi. Calls her out for thinking she's the best one in the group, but couldn't go solo. All this other stuff back and forth. She don't know who her child's father is. And eventually Naomi gets her panties in a bunch and she's like, I don't need this. If y'all think y'all can do better without me, do it then. And everybody's like, no, don't leave. Age old situation of people being able to dish it but not take it in. So after that, all right, so this is when now we can just kind of go into person by person. So Brianna'S story arc this episode is she's talking to her husband Jeff, and he is telling, like, she's trying to write, but she hears him upstairs groaning because he's in pain. Just had brain surgery. And he's telling her that he needs to take some time away, go relax, go do whatever you've been trying to do whatever you've been putting off. Go relax, have some me time, step away from writing for a moment. So she actually goes and meets with a divorce lawyer. The divorce lawyer tells her, like, you got to be ready for war. You got to be ready for them to call you like abandonment issues because you're going to be on tour. Like, divorce is never easy, no matter how good of parents you both are. And co-parenting is working. Like, you might think co-parenting might work, you just never know, right? So she's like taking that into account because she's still not over the fact that not only did her husband cheat, but cheated with one of his students. So then they get called to one of their kids' schools because their child keeps saying bitch. And Jeff like stands up and is like, my wife is from this iconic pioneer rap group, and that word is what they use to take the power back, and gives this whole women empowerment speech. And Brianna was like, that was cool of you. You didn't have to do that. So the two of them end up going out on a little day date, and they went to like a distillery. Went on a distillery to like do some bourbon tasting, and Jeff hooked it up to where they are actually drinking from a cask that was opened or cast whatever tapped back on their wedding day. So, and I'm looking like, is he supposed to be drinking? Lord, all that medication he's on. And I mean, he was just in pain yesterday. So they're doing that. They're having a really good time. You can see that they're like connecting, and you kind of you can see like why they were married in the first place, like what made them get along together. And it's just cool to see. They get home and Jeff is asking her, like, when are you going to get over it? And Brianna just can't. And she's like, I made all these sacrifices for you where, I was smarter than you. You know what I mean? Like, I have a degree. I wanted to be a professor, but I stopped and put my career and my goals on the side to raise your kids and to prop you up so that you can get to where you are today. And you can see that Jeff has like tears in his eyes and is kind of like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And he's asking her, like, can they get past it? Can they move on? Do what you need to do, but can we come together and move on from this? And then at the end of the episode, when she gets back to LA, she comes in and he's in the bed and he's watching TV, laying in the bed watching TV, and she's like, I want to move forward with this. I love you. I love our family. I'm willing to try. Let's make it work. And she's like, you not going to say nothing back? You're not answering? And she goes over and she finds out that he's dead. And I said, Lord. That escalated quickly. That escalated very quickly. Valeria's story arc this episode has been, she can't write, and she knows she can't write. She really needs this rap group to work and everything to work because she doesn't want to go back to She doesn't want to go back to doing like all these washed up celebrity things. She doesn't want to have to host Wipeout. She doesn't want to have to go that route. Like, she wants to be back in the group. So she ends up hanging out with the manager, Eric. They go out for dancing and some food. And he like helps her get back to, he's like, everybody knows how to write. I just need, he's like, everybody knows how to write. I just have to help you like pull that passion out. So they do that, and then he ends up telling her that he has all this old music of theirs from when they used to email their tracks in because they all could not be in the studio together. So he's like helping her do her writing, and she ends up being able to like get her verse together. He actually tries to kiss her, tells her that he misses her, he misses what they had. She would have been a great mother, and she was like, "We're not going back down that route. I'm pressing forward. You know, you're the past." Um, I'm assuming she had an abortion, and she's like, "I don't regret it. I didn't want to be a mother. I'm an entertainer. That's what I wanted to do. I'm a hustler. I'm a go getter." And she kind of tells him like, are you doing this because you're like, you truly truly miss me and love me, or are you just feeling nostalgic? And I was like, what a word, what a word. Naomi's daughter JoJo is in LA because she's going to audition for this school called Hillman for piano. When JoJo gets there, she's intimidated by the others white students that are there. They know how to play all these ritzy and these like I won't say ritzy. They know how to play all these like classic songs and stuff that she does not know how to play because I don't know, she's not self-taught, but she just doesn't have the access to the conservatories and the teachings that they have. So that little girl gets on my nerves. And I get that she has this anger because her mother, like Naomi's not being truthful with her. Naomi has never been around. She doesn't know who her father is. So she has all this internal angst and turmoil. So she's like practicing and she can't nail it. And Naomi is like telling her, like, relax, don't give up. You can do all this. You don't need the fancy shoes and all the other stuff that they have. And her daughter is like, you don't have to go all Michelle Obama on me. You were never around. I don't need the speech. I'm never nervous before I play. And, but technically you're never around either. Kind of insinuating that Naomi being there is throwing her off her game. We see Naomi be like, all right, then peace. But Naomi actually comes back and she brings her some tacos and tells her that she has a ritual that she does in every city that she goes to before she performs. So she kind of eats at the same place every time to help calm her nerves. So they share some tacos together. And then when her daughter goes and plays, she like kills the song. But then she adds in like Bodak Yellow. And then she adds in some of her mother's song at the end. And, by the grace of TV magic, that gets her into this school. And then for Jill the Thrill, so for Jill, she's doing an interview about her coming out, and at the end of the interview, the lady Alicia, who was interviewing her, invites her to come hang out with her. They end up going to a lesbian bar. So we find out that Alicia, the interviewer, is a lesbian. So they're hanging out and they are trying to pop Jill's cherry and they're using Jill to pick up other women. And then we can tell that something's going to happen with Jill and the interviewer woman. So Jill is back home at her hotel the next day and she's doing some writing, and Tina, who is her girlfriend, texts her. She does not answer the phone. So then Alicia texts her, and she like sits up and is ready and attentive to talk to her. She goes out. She's thinking she's meeting like the whole group that they hung out with the night before for dinner. And it's really just Alicia, who is trying to like finger pop her underneath the table. And I said, oh Lord, ABC, like, this is why it's on at 9 o'clock on ABC. So Jill is like kind of shook by that. So she gets up, she goes to the bathroom, and then we see her back at home. So I don't know if that meant that she left dinner or maybe she went back to dinner and this is like after. So she's on the phone with Tina. Just telling Tina that, I'm sorry I didn't answer. I've been busy, like, trying to get this, trying to write and do all this other stuff. When Alicia knocks on the door, she gets off the phone with her, and then the two of them apparently go have sex. And I said, Jill, don't turn into no little thought and then have your business all over. Remember, you are still a celebrity. So at the end, we see them all come together, and they're all showing the stuff that they're gonna be, like, the verses they put together. So they're out rapping. The song was cool. The song was cool for what it was, and then they decide that they're gonna change the name of the group from Nasty Bitches to Queens. And I'm like, I thought y'all did that in the first episode. I thought y'all did that the first episode when they rewrote the song, when they performed it with Lil Muffin. So I was confused. But then at the end, we see Valeria is, because now there's so many people on this show, y'all. Naomi's daughter, JoJo, is asking her, like, can you help me find my dad? I want to know who my dad is. I feel like a piece of me is missing because I don't know that. So we're thinking it's Cameron. Come to find out, at the end, we see Eric, who is making a deal, talking to someone, saying, excuse me, yeah, they changed their name, but I have a lot of their old tracks, so we can just release, like, an old compilation album. So I can't tell if he's being shady with this or what, or if he has to if he's looking at a way to, like, get some extra money for them, or if he's still up to his own shit. But while he's doing that, he's listening to some lyrics, and he hears the lyric from Naomi that's saying that he's pregnant, like, your life is growing with me. I can't say anything because your girl will be mad. And he keeps rewinding it and rewinding it and rewinding it, and he figures out that JoJo is his daughter. So then, while he's listening to that, Valeria comes in, and she's mad because I guess he must have cheated. He must have been messing with Naomi while he was with Valeria. And so she's shocked. And I'm like, this is such a mess. The show is still very disjointed. I thought it would get better, but the show is very, very, very disjointed. And I'm hoping it gets better, but I don't see this lasting past this season. And I think it's because I don't think the show was a good fit for ABC. I just don't. I think it would have been a better fit for Fox, or like a TNT or some FX, something like that. But I don't think it's the right fit for ABC. Nonetheless, if you made it through this crazy review that I did, consider subscribing to the channel. Thumbs up the video. Leave some comments down below. How do you guys honestly feel about the show? Let's talk about it.